How's it going, everyone? And welcome to another episode of Aeternum's Got Talent. In today's episode, we got another Transmog competition for you all, but this time around, there's a special twist. All of the contestants and judges will be some of the biggest and best New World content creators around, and they'll be going head-to-head for a chance at 35,000 gold, and to get their name on the prestigious Aeternum's Got Talent trophy. Now, let's briefly go over how this competition will go down. 6 New World influencers will face off against one another in the contest hall I created over in Brimstone Sands. They will each get the chance to wow the judges with their custom transmog in various ways. First, they will strut their stuff down the runway and take center stage, before giving a brief backstory to how they came up with their look and what they called it. Then, they will show off 2 of their favorite emotes that they think go well with said look, before pulling out their 2 weapons of choice that they paired with the ensemble. From there, we'll hand things over to the 2 judges and the audience to get their opinions on the transmogs, as well as a score out of 10, taking into account the backstory, name, look, emotes, and weapon choices. All 3 scores will be added up to give each contestant a final score out of 30, and then they'll be ranked on the scoreboard, with the contestant with the highest overall score at the end of the contest being crowned Aeternum's Got Talent champion. The winner will not only get their name imprinted on the prestigious trophy, but they will also be walking away with 25,000 gold. But that's not the only prize to be won in this contest. There will also be another 10,000 gold going out to the People's Champion, and that's where all of you, the viewers, come in. The top 4 highest ranking influencers will be put up into a poll at the end of this video that all of you can go vote on and determine who is the People's Champion, because sometimes the judges don't always have the best taste in transmogs. Wow. A link to the poll will be given at the end of this video, so don't forget to go over and vote for your favorite influencer once you've seen all the submissions. And also, please consider giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel. It helps out massively. But now that you know how this competition will go down, let's introduce you to the 2 lovely judges that will be judging today's contestants. And of course, when looking for the right people to judge this competition, we had to go to the UK, since they're clearly the best judges of talent. And for judge number 1, we brought in Danneh TV. Danneh is a YouTuber and Twitch streamer with over 70,000 followers across both platforms. He's logged a whopping 208 days of playtime on his main character, but when he's not playing New World or other MMOs, he's working on his van that he eventually plans to move into full-time and content create from. He currently fights for the Marauders, and his favorite color combination is black and gray, so contestants rocking a black and gray look might earn some extra brownie points from Danneh. Next up, we got ItsGlaive. Relatively new to creating video game related content, Glaive only got into it last August, but he's already pumping out quality New World content at an incredible rate. He's got over 25 days of playtime on his main character, and enjoys covering New World news on his channel. His favorite color combination is black and red, so contestants who have gone with that kind of a look could be catching Glaive's eye. When we approached Glaive about working on this transmog competition, I think he might have misunderstood what his role would be in it, as he immediately got back to us dressed in full cosplay, only to find out he'd be judging. So unfortunately, the cosplay had to go back on the shelf until next time. And then, of course, we have our lovely audience, who will be shouting their scores out from the stands and hyping up the influencers as they perform. But now that we know who will be judging the participants, let's start off with contestant number 1, Savvvo Games. Savvvo is a YouTuber from New York with over 4,000 subscribers. He's been making content for a little over a year now, but already has put out an impressive 100 videos, covering a wide variety of New World related topics. When it comes to the content he enjoys most, he does a bit of everything, but leans towards the PvP side of things, and currently fights for the Syndicate. For his look, he tried to make sure he didn't use more than one piece from any set, and bring it all together in a creepy all-white look, in which he dubbed the All or Nothing look. For his emotes, he waved off the judges before creepily crawling up and down the stage like a man possessed. His go-to weapons for the All or Nothing look are the Ice Gauntlets and the Great Axe. For sure a spooky look, with lots of Stranger Things vibes going for it. But let's head over to the judges to see what they think of Savvo's All or Nothing look. First up, let's hear from judge number 1 on whether or not he's feeling this look.
Okay, Savvvo Games. Although this is different pieces from different sets, it looks and feels like it could be from one set. I think he's done a really great job, and I genuinely like the look. Not a big fan of the pink, but the pieces he has chose work really well together. 6 out of 10.
Danneh approves, but let's see if judge number 2, Glaive, agrees with Danneh's assessment or not.
What is there to say? This is an imposing figure. Honestly, pure white, I love it. Sometimes simplicity is the boldest statement you can make. Rocking a look called All or Nothing, Savvvo has absolutely 100% brought his all. Not a huge fan of the spider walk, but that's personal preference. I grew up watching The Exorcist, so slight PTSD there, nothing I can hold against the contestant. On closer inspection, the torso, I'm not sure what armor piece this is, but that also gives me very, very high Spawn vibes. That very clean, almost organic armor kind of look blows me away. Savvvo is a really solid ensemble piece. It does give me those organic armor vibes, and I love the simplicity of the color scheme. For those reasons, we are going to give Savvvo Games an 8 out of 10.
High praise from Glaive. Now, let's head over to the audience and see what they think of the look. The audience was also full of praise for Savvo's all-or-nothing look. They disagreed with Danneh's classification of the outfit being pink, and instead thought it would look more white, but they still would have preferred a darker color scheme to go with such a creepy look. All the same, the look works very well, and the audience decided to give Savvvo a 7 out of 10. That means after the scores have come in from all 3 judges, Savvvo Games has scored an admirable 21 out of 30 for his look, and is the first contestant to crawl their way onto the scoreboard. Next up, we have contestant number 2, Goddess009. Goddess is a Twitch streamer from Missouri, with over 5,000 followers on her Twitch and Instagram combined. She's been making content since 2020, and has over 44 days of New World played on her main character. She's mostly a PvE player, but sometimes dabbles in PvP, and she currently fights for the Covenant. For her look, she took inspiration from Ahsoka Tano from the Star Wars universe, and calls the look Ahsoka. For her emotes, she went with the lovely ballerina dance, before blowing some bubbles in the air. Her weapons of choice are the life staff and the flail and shield. Definitely an awesome look from an awesome streamer, and she nailed the Star Wars vibe. But let's hand it over to the judges and see what they think of Goddess's Ahsoka transmog. First up, we'll get Danneh's take on the Star Wars themed transmog.
Goddess, although this set is inspired from Star Wars, this really gave me this kind of Egyptian goddess vibe, which is really cool. It's a really nice look. Not a fan of the chosen emotes. I think they're a little bit too playful for the style of character that she's chosen and the style of transmog. However, I think it's a good look with a good style. This is a 7 out of 10 from me.
Not a bad score from Danneh, but he wasn't really feeling the emotes. Let's see if Glaive feels differently.
Immediately you were hit by the Ahsoka look that she is going for. The skin tone, the headdress, she really nails it. Ever living up to her name, the goddess of course wows us with her dance moves. Very graceful, very ethereal. I will say that other than the perfect, absolutely tone perfect skin tone and the headdress, I don't really get a lot more Jedi vibes from this. The white and the purple in the robes, the staff, the shield, it all just kind of bursts that Star Wars bubble a little bit for me. I definitely think that rather than a sword and shield and a staff, maybe a rapier with some kind of energy or flame effect on it, which I know is tricky to achieve in game, but not impossible, would have really fit the mood more. And for those reasons, I'm going to give Goddess a 7 out of 10.
Some great points made by Glaive, and he was a much bigger fan of the emotes than Danneh. But let's go over and see what the audience thinks of this look. The audience loves the look. In terms of looking like Ahsoka, she nailed it. They agreed with Glaive that a glowing rapier would have been the icing on the cake, but loved the look nonetheless. They were also fans of the emotes. As avid Star Wars fans, they appreciated Goddess showing off the more gentle and elegant side of Ahsoka, as opposed to the ruthless side that's often on display. They decided to give her an 8.5 out of 10. That means, after tallying up all 3 judges' scores, Goddess's Ahsoka look gets a fantastic 22.5 out of 30. It seems as if the Force is with her as she dances her way onto the scoreboard in the number 1 spot. Next up is contestant number 3, BDLG. BDLG is a Twitch streamer and a YouTuber from Texas, with over 40,000 followers combined. He has been making a variety of content for over 11 years, but now mostly focuses on making community-based New World content. He's a jack of all trades when it comes to the content he likes, and does it all from PvP to PvE, with over 129 games currently logged on his main character in New World. He currently fights for the Syndicate, but the awesome website he runs, Studio Loot, is a massive help to all of the factions in Aeternum. For his look, he went with the black and white theme, dubbing the look the albino bull. For his emotes, he decided to go with the flex, to show off the mighty physique of the bull, before ending it with the chest pound. He paired his look with the spear and the sword and shield combo. Definitely a very sleek looking transmog, but let's hand it over to the judges to see what they think of BDLG's albino bull. First up, we'll hear from Danneh on his thoughts of the sleek white transmog.
BDLG, looking mean, I guess. Don't wear red around this guy, or he's going to charge you and potentially kick your ass. A nice masculine sort of alpha male emotes to kind of fit and complement that fighter style. I'm not sure the name of the sword skin, but this is definitely sort of kind of up there, one of my favorite skins for the sword. Overall, a really good look. Makes a lot of sense and sort of right up my street. 8 out of 10.
Very high praise from Danneh, but let's see if Glaive agrees with his judgment.
nobody quite manages to balance swagger with pure raw force, quite like BDLG with his bull look. Even the confidence of the stride as he walks up to take his place on stage just shouts swagger, confidence. This dude knows what's up. And of course, he cannot resist the poses. I mean, this guy is honestly trying to be the Arnie of New World, and right now, with this outfit, it kinda works. While I think a helmet that is quite this tanky definitely requires a little bit more of the armor look than the cloth look, he's really kind of gelled the two together very, very well. You have the main body, which is cream, it's leather, it's very function over form, but then the pop of the metallic legwear, the metallic gloves, the metallic shoulders, that contrast really makes the armor pieces actually stand out quite well. BDLG has managed to put together quite a successful brazen bull kind of outfit, and for all of these reasons, I'm going to give the guy 8 out of 10.
Wow, high praise from Glaive as well, dubbing BDLG the Arnie of New World. But let's head over to the audience and see if they agree with the stunning reviews from both judges. The audience seemed to agree. BDLG knocked it out the park with this look. Everything just goes so well together, including the emotes. The two judges were spot on with their assessments. It's another 8 out of 10 from the audience as well. That means BDLG charges his way onto the scoreboard with a whopping score of 24 out of 30, giving the albino bull the #1 spot, and it's not going to be an easy feat for any of the remaining contestants to compete with a score like that. Next up, we have contestant number 4, TrickTrick. Trick is a Twitch streamer and YouTuber with over 30,000 followers combined. He makes competitive PvP content and likes to play around with the meta, so he can educate and coach his followers in the ways of New World PvP. He's been making his content for over 2 years now, and currently has roughly 290 days worth of playtime on his main character. He fights for the Marauders, but when he enters the arena, he's more than willing to take out members of any faction. For his look, he wanted a combination of magic and science, since he's a fire staff and blunderbuss enjoyer. On his coat, he carries around his magical ammunition, grenade vials, potions, and alchemy seals to help him hone his magical abilities, and he's christened his look the Alchemist, but some refer to him in the arenas as the Gun Mage. For his emotes, he first flipped a table in rage, before calmly steeping a teabag in some tea. Truly the perfect emotes for a confident PvP enthusiast. For his weapons of choice, Trick always goes with the fire staff and blunderbuss, and he made sure to mention that both the skins he uses on his weapons are no longer obtainable in-game, so if you're planning on copying him, tough luck. Definitely a cool, dark, and mystical looking transmog that's sure to strike fear into the hearts of any opponent that comes across him in the arenas. But let's hand things over to the judges to see what they think about TrickTrick's Alchemist transmog. First up, we'll hear from Danneh.
TrickTrick, the man who has taken the infamous pirate blunderbuss and murdered half of Aeternum. Personally, not a huge fan of magic, but I really like this kind of dark magic color scheme that he's got going on. Genuinely really good look overall. I've not seen the pieces on the chest piece before where you've got the sort of magic potions. Awesome look. Hate the shoes. 7 out of 10.
A solid score from Danneh, despite the fact that he's not a magic lover. But let's see what Glaive thought about the Gun Mage.
Immediately, TrickTrick's Alchemist Gun Mage look really gives me those Final Fantasy Black Mage vibes. That is something I can fully appreciate. Although the Tash is probably a little bit more Dr. Robotnik than it is Black Mage. And I have to say here, as a loud and proud Brit, the table flip followed by the delicate cup of tea does seem to me to be a very British thing. You could almost be forgiven for thinking that the guy himself is actually British, which of course he ain't. Probably worth mentioning, I'm a huge fan of the steampunk look, the steampunk aesthetic and vibe. Seeing a mage rocking a blunderbuss in this way really gives me those steampunk vibes. It's something I think is sorely missing from the MMO genre, something we need to see an awful lot more, something I am very appreciative to see on display here. TrickTrick has really managed to properly balance the mystical with the mechanical with this outfit, and despite the fact that the face under the hat looks very much like Jim Carrey from the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, I do really appreciate the end result. For that reason, I'm going to give TrickTrick 8.5 out of 10.
A very good score for TrickTrick coming in from Glaive. But let's see if the audience felt the same way about the look. The audience was blown away by this look. The color scheme, the emotes, the weapon skins, it all just goes so well together. The only gripe they had with the look is that they would have hoped for a different facial hair, maybe a bit of a beard for a more mage vibe, but since there's no barbershop out at the moment, they won't hold it against them too hard. It's a 9 out of 10 from the audience. That means, after all 3 scores are in, astonishingly enough, TrickTrick's Alchemist look has come in at 24.5 points out of 30, just about sneaking his way past the albino bull for the number 1 spot by only 0.5 points. A magical performance from the gun mage. Next up is contestant number 5, JoshsTip. Josh is a Twitch streamer from Texas with over 3,000 followers. He's been streaming New World for over 2 years now and enjoys playing Outpost Rush and creating builds that will dominate that game mode. He focuses most of his time in-game on the PvP side of the game, between OPR matches and wars, and he's racked up a total of 130 days worth of playtime on his main character alone. He currently fights for the Covenant, but when it comes to Outpost Rush, he's willing to take down anybody that gets in his way. For his look, he was inspired by his love of chocolate and has entitled said look the Chocolate Bunny. For his emotes, he started off with his party trick of blowing fire from his mouth, before making a threatening, neck-slitting emote at the judges. Let's see if that might intimidate them into giving him a few extra points. When it comes to weapons, he chose to pair his fire staff with a very nice looking blunderbuss. Definitely a delicious looking transmog. But let's hand it over to the judges to see what they think of Josh's chocolate bunny. First up, we'll get Danneh's take on Josh's bunny transmog.
Josh, the chocolate bunny. I mean, who doesn't love chocolate and who doesn't love bunnies, eh? No, I mean, in Aeternum, I have nightmares of killing thousands of bunnies for the chest that I never got. Maybe Josh can have it next time. Anyway, I do like the chest piece. I think the cape is really cool and genuinely a pretty good choice of emotes. However, not a massive fan of the set overall, and not a fan of human-sized bunnies. Just, I think some of the pieces are nice, but as a full set, it just doesn't really do anything for me. So 6 out of 10.
A solid score from Danneh. I think Josh might have lost a point or two because of the torture Danneh was put through during Rabbit's revenge. But let's see what Glaive has to say about the chocolate bunny.
Now, Josh immediately gets points for the fact that he's using the rabbit mask. I do think it's probably one of the best and most iconic masks in the game. Although blowing fire and the throat emote, very threatening for a rabbit, although I guess this is very much Rabbit's revenge, right? This guy could walk up to you looking cute, looking rabbit-like, and explode in a chocolate bubble at any given moment. I really like the robes here and the vibe that the robes give. Sadly, I don't really think that they match a bunny theme. I would have liked to see more fur pieces, something a little bit more animalistic with, you know, the armor acting as accents, maybe the robes acting as accents, as opposed to being the main outfit. There's a little bit of disparity between the chocolate animal and the human robes. So while the rabbit mask is one of my personal favorites in the game, while I do appreciate the robes, I do feel like the whole thing clashes a little bit. It's a good effort, but for that reason, I'm going to give 7 out of 10.
A harsh but fair ruling from Glaive, with some good points being made, but let's see if the audience feels the same way or if they were bigger fans of the chocolate bunny. The audience agreed with a lot of the points the judges made. They loved the mask, the armor, the color scheme, and the weapons, but the emotes threw them off a bit. All the same, it's hard to go wrong with the chocolate bunny, so it's a 7 out of 10 from them. That means after all 3 scores were tallied up, Josh's chocolate bunny came in with a respectable 20 out of 30 points, seeing him hop his way onto the scoreboard in 5th place. And finally, we have contestant number 6, Black Swan. Swan is a Twitch streamer from Vegas with over 6,000 followers. She's been streaming for over 2 years now, and has a mind-boggling 300 days of playtime on her main character. She plays a healthy balance of PvP and PvE content whenever she's not having friendly debates about New World-related topics with her viewers. For her look, she got inspiration from her personal stylist, Homer702, and the two of them came up with this amazing transmog, and anointed it the Prideful Pilgrim. For her emotes, after drunkenly walking down the stage, she challenged any of the judges to a fight on the spot, before throwing sand in their eyes. Hopefully that dirty trick doesn't see her losing any points on the judges' scorecards. When it comes to her weapons of choice, she chose the see-through life staff and rapier combo. Definitely a sleek blue and white transmog, with a nice touch of gold in there to spruce up the look. Swan and Homer did a great job putting this one together, even if they did take a really long time deciding on it. But let's head on over to the judges to see what they think of Swan's Prideful Pilgrim transmog. First up, we'll hear what Danneh has to say about the Pilgrim.
Black Swan. Nice color scheme to the transmog, and I think a good choice of pieces if you're trying to look like an NPC. I mean, to be fair, we do need some of these around town in New World, since New World towns are kind of quiet. The weapons and emotes, I think, genuinely complement the set quite nicely, but for me, the overall set's like a bit too plain. It's a bit too vanilla. Love Black Swan, dislike the transmog, get a new stylist. 5 out of 10.
Very harsh from Danneh. I think Black Swan will need to have a word with her stylist after that one. But let's see if Glaive saw the transmog in a different way.
I don't know what's more surprising about this legend Black Swan, the fact that she used the word prideful in the outfit getup, or the fact that she had a stylist help put this ensemble together. But initially, the prideful pilgrim look really seems to work. The emote of Black Swan telling you what's what just really goes with the prideful pilgrim vibe. I can fully imagine her stood in the room giving me a complete dressing down, telling me what a tosser I am and how to sort out my life. It's very prideful pilgrim. The design itself is very clean and simple. It's very puritanical blue, but it all fits together really well. That with the telling you what's what emoji, the pocket sand, the anger, the righteousness, it all gels to make a really neat, very puritanical, very prideful package. Black Swan has definitely nailed the puritanical, prideful pilgrim vibe here. I could fully imagine this character and this particular persona telling me exactly what I'm doing wrong with my life, exactly why I should repent, and exactly why I should be a good little boy going forward. It's a simple look, it's a clean look, but it all works really well, and everything lends itself to the persona. And for that reason, Black Swan gets a whopping 10 out of 10.
Wow, extremely high praise from Glaive, as the prideful pilgrim gets his highest score of the whole contest. But let's see if the audience agrees with how highly Glaive rates this transmog. The audience really liked the look. It's very clean and matches very well. The name fits perfect, the emotes work perfect, it's got everything going for it. But they kind of agree with Danneh's NPC look claims. It's a great look, but there's just not enough wow factor in the look. And for that, it's a 7 out of 10 from the audience. That means Black Swan's prideful pilgrim gets a combined score of 22 out of 30, meaning she postures her way onto the scoreboard in a very respectable 4th place. Hopefully, that position doesn't hurt the pride of the pilgrim too greatly. With all the scores officially in, we can confirm that by judges' decision, the champion of the Aeternum's Got Talent Influencer Transmog contest is TrickTrick and his Alchemist Gun Mage look. Not only will Trick be winning the 25,000 gold prize, but his name will forever be etched in Aeternum's Got Talent history. But now, this is where you all, the viewers, come in, on deciding the People's Champion, in case you think the judges might have messed this one up. The top 4 ranking participants in this contest, so Trick, BDLG, Goddess, and Black Swan, will all be going up into a poll for you all to vote on to decide who you think should have won. The contestant who receives the most votes will be crowned as the People's Champion, and will be given 10,000 gold as a reward. The link to that poll will be in the top right of this video, and in the video description, so make sure to go over and vote. But that brings an end to another episode of Aeternum's Got Talent. I hope you enjoyed it. I just want to give a massive thank you to all the content creators who gave up their time to be in this video. I know you're all very busy people, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to participate in this event. Links to their content can be found in the video description, so make sure to check them all out. They're great at what they do. And if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. This kind of content takes a lot of work to put together, so liking the video helps out massively. But until next time, have a good one. Thanks for watching another video, and a massive shout out to all the patrons who help support the channel over on Patreon and through the YouTube members section. If you'd like to see the other episodes of Aeternum's Got Talent, click on the video to the left. Or, if you'd like to learn how to build a rooftop house, like the set of this video, click on the video to the right.